I am live. Sources are telling me I am live. I can neither confirm nor deny this. Hello everyone, hi. I am Punchy, this is Deadly Premonition 2, and boy do I have a work of art for you today. I'm very excited about this, even though it's 5 AM British time, so I'm actually very tired. I signed up for this. I knew the risks. Right, I'm gonna start the run. 3, 2, 1, video games. Because this is a very long game, we will have lots of time to talk. There is no need for introductions. We will explain as we go. Yes, this is Deadly Premonition 2, a game whose genre is difficult to define. It is an paranormal investigation, horror,
way to start the new year.
Life simulator, open world skateboarding game.
You're on the clock.
Also bowling.
Quiet down.
A lot happens, but at the start here we're in these investigative segments where we control this character, Aaliyah Davis. These sections are mostly dialogue mashing. I will be candid, this is the kind of run that takes about 5 minutes to get off the ground, unfortunately. It's one of those. It's got a bit of a start to it, so hence we begin quickly. I've held the button too quickly, meaning Aaliyah has walked in the opposite direction of where she is supposed to. Okay. Okay, so we must select the correct things to look at in these investigation segments. There's a bunch of red herrings. This is just pure memorization and mashing. I'm mashing using the Takahashi Meijin technique of using one index finger and repeatedly vibrating it against the button.
He's first.
Do people know who Takahashi Meijin is these days? Am I dating myself with that one? Regardless, this is just simply adventure game type mashing. We have to get through this before we can get to the ridiculous assortment of mechanics this game has. For instance, our goal for the first part of this run is to avoid going into debt. By way of collecting bits of a clown. Yes, that is about the best way to summarize that. But right now we're investigating Francis Zach Morgan over here from the previous game. I cannot really attempt to explain the plot of this because it's like a direct sequel to a game that is about 15 hours long, and like attempting to compress about 30 hours worth of storytelling into a 3-hour speedrun is very difficult. There's been a murder in a small town. Have you ever seen Twin Peaks before? It's like that. That's basically what happens in Deadly Premonition 1. And this is a prequel, sequel type deal to that. You see why this is very difficult to compress. We're questioning this dude about a case he solved in the past, and then we're going to go to that case in the past and solve it, kind of. But for now, we're going to question him about his weird triangles that he's got in the house, and mashing through all the dialogue makes it all sound like Animal Crossing noises.
He's
Still stuck on you to collect a clown for money. We'll get there. We will get there. There we go. Okay, we've hit cutscene 1. We can skip this. In the cutscene we skipped, Zach freaked out because we had a small cut on our hand, and he is apparently pathologically afraid of the color red. For reasons. The dialogue option there defaults to clock in the trash, and clock in the trash is useless to me. Thank you very much. It's very cool that they do that. Looking at this tree is the last thing he needs. Dead. And it gets cut off. There we go.
The other me.
Thus ends the initial mashing interlude of dialogue. I told you it took a moment to get off the ground. Sadly, functionally this game is an RPG of sorts, like, kind of, it's an action RPG as well. There's a whole RPG crafting system that can increase your stats. We never interact with it in the speedrun, it is completely unnecessary. So that's like -1 mechanic I don't have to explain. But it exists, it's a thing. Okay, so now we're going to take control, once we get past a bunch of red leaves falling. We're going to take control of Francis York Morgan in the past, in Louisiana, solving a case in the small town of Lucare. That is how they pronounce it. I do not know if that is accurate. But right now there's supposed to be dialogue playing over this, but due to my insistence on continuing to press the B button, it is not playing. And gone. Excellent. Deadly Premonition. An indie. No, a blessing in disguise. I don't know what the subtitle really means. 2005 summer. That was a dialogue option. You didn't see it. It didn't draw in fast enough for me to do it. Anyway, we didn't eat our breakfast because they didn't animate York eating it. Load times. Speaking of load times, this is being played on the recent PC version of the game. This was an initial Switch release. It runs at about 5 frames per second and loads take several minutes. It used to be about a 5-hour run before the PC version came out. Anyway, I'm York, I'm playing the game, I'm running woohoo gameplay. I have a stamina meter in the top left, it must be managed. You can only run for so long before you get tired. I'm not tired, I overran. That is fine, that is okay. Cutscenes will cancel it now. We wear a snazzy suit, but our suit can get dirty. We must avoid dirty suit at all costs, as dirty suit means we will get fined every time we run into a building, about $60, and I need those $60 to not go into debt. So throughout this run, we'll be paying attention to our suit dirtiness and Zach's general level of BO. First, we're going to organize our evidence, of which we don't have any, so I'm just going to mash through this. Saint Rouge, it's a drug. Lise Clarkson, a murdered person who we're investigating. And that's it. I've organized my evidence. That's perfectly organized. He's talking about a movie. The movie Island, specifically. That's what that dialogue was. I've never seen the movie The Island. If anyone's seen Island, feel free to chime in. I've unlocked Link Board, even though it's not really a game feature. Okay, first things first. Toolbox. We need to get things out of our toolbox. We need to extract 2 sleeping bags, 4 biscuits, 2 of these cold begons, much of these, and yes, that's about right. I need those anti-nums for later. That's paralysis curing. This game has status effects. It's a whole thing. I got a whole bunch of items. I will explain their usages later. These things come as they go. You start with a bunch of items. You get them out of your toolbox. But I've only got so much carrying space, I can't just take everything I need. Now we're going to solve the Hoongan's riddle. We are contacted by a mysterious skeleton man who seems to hide in the walls, and he tells us where to go. So our first clue is to fill I forget the number of 10 maidens. There it is. It refers to a bowling alley. We'll have to go bowling at some point in this run.
Do you know what the
ambiguous 0 is Clarkson because it's the ambiguous 0 refers to temperature, right? That's the clue for that one. The ambiguous 0 is temperature because, you know, Celsius, Fahrenheit. I mean, I'm British, I get it.
How about that Hoongan?
We've solved the riddles. That is how detective work functions. Now we're going to buy more sleeping bags. We need more of them. So we're going to summon the concierge. I need 3.
Please, do you? So,
3 sleeping bags, as sleeping is the best way to advance time, as this game has a time system, a day-night cycle, and a day-of-the-week system, which is grand. That comes up. That some things only happen on certain days. Yes, that does come up in the run. We take 1 step out of the door and get assaulted with a cutscene. Thanks for the controls. I don't need those. We meet Melvin Woods here. He's the sheriff. I kind of skipped his cutscene. That's Patricia.
Hey, you.
That's Patricia Woods. She's our partner for this game. If she gets hurt, the game fines you about $100. That's bad. I don't have $100. Anyway, now I have a skateboard. This is the main mode of transport throughout the game. So if you're any good at Tony Hawk speedruns, might I have a recommendation for you?
A strange name. CLG, I think. What exactly does that mean?
Clever little girl. That's what it stands for.
We have now stopped by the bowling alley. And Patricia is puzzled by our insistence on going bowling, but it is required to find the necessary clues. Has been unlocked. It's not really unlocked so much as it's just a building you can go into, but that's how this game phrases it, so that is how it is. Okay, let's go bowling. I'm going to skip this cutscene. There is an elderly lady using the bowling alley. She will not let us bowl, as she likes bowling more than we do. Even if we talk to her and be like, can we please bowl? She's like, no. She's on form, you see. She's bowling a great game. So we can't bowl. She's not about it. She's praying to bowling gods for good form while also kind of sliding about the scene. Like, she's not really animating. Just sort of... We are left to infer that she bowled well. The camera did not look at it. Anyway, the long and short of this is in order to advance our murder investigation, we must go bowling. And she won't let us go bowling. She's mean like that. So now we need to find something that will convince her to let us use the bowling. So we've unlocked Azuli Frida, which is the local voodoo shop. You know, she's very into the occults, so we are going to exploit that weakness.
I thought you...
Shush, Patty. I have places to be. Dialogue gets interrupted when you get on the board, so...
Hey, Zach, it looks like we were right on the money.
Looks like we were right on the money. He also talks to himself as you would. I'm not sure how Patty really comes along with us.
Given us far more favor than
she's with us, I guess. Imagine she's like boarding along behind us.
Vacation in New Orleans. That certainly wouldn't have happened if we had stayed in D.C. They would have given the case to another special agent, or maybe even to the state, and then we never would have found it. In the end, it would have been shut up in that vast...
And so we board over to Azuli Frida. I'm going to try and get in from the side. Nice. Patty thinks it's stupid because she's like, this mystical stuff is childish. But York is weird. I'm pressing B to... Here's the funny thing about Deadly Premonition 2 and pressing B to do things. It only works 1 in 30 times you do it. So often you'll see me stand in front of something, mash the B button, you'll be like, why is he standing in front of the B prompt and not pressing B? I am. It just doesn't work, like, most of the time. You need to press the button a lot before it takes. Here we talk to this guy. He runs the voodoo shop. I'm going to purchase a silly-looking alligator doll off of him. That is required to advance the quest. It's $30. That's a lot of dollars at this point in the game, but I kinda need it, so... This is where you would purchase various charms to upgrade York's parameters. Like, skate speed and power for his gun, etc, etc. There's a whole RPG element here. We're not going to interact with it in the slightest, because it is just... there's never a good time to do it. Speed upgrades would sound pretty useful for the board, but they unlock so late into the game that you don't really have a good opportunity to get them. Also, they take crafting materials, and there's also just no good time to gather those either. So now, our next priority, also, York can skate perfectly regardless of the terrain, like grass, gravel, anything, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. You can skate anywhere. Like, you can't skate grass? What are you? What are you, bad? Oh, the fence actually spawned in this time. Excellent. Sometimes it doesn't. Consider that an omen for the run to come, shall we? Boing. Don't worry about that. That happens all the time. But now we're going over to the cold storage warehouse where the deceased's body is being stored. Because, you know, we are investigating a murder. It's very easy to forget that. It just forces you off the board there to show you a nice, like, wide shot of the warehouse, I guess. Don't bump into Melvin. Good. If you bump into people with your skateboard, the game finds you $6. I would rather keep those $6. The gun that Melvin has provided us is a purple gun that only shoots rubber bullets. So you can only pester townsfolk with your gun, you can't actually, like, hurt them. Yes, there is third-person shooting in this game. It is nominally a horror game. Nominally.
What?
There are cars, but they are infrequent. They're infrequent, and sometimes their drivers tend to float 10 feet in the air. But you do have to watch out for traffic sometimes, because cars will absolutely run you over, and sometimes they'll run you through the floor. Anyway, in we go. Do you get fined for being hit by a car? No, it just hurts you. Strangely, you can punch cars to set off their car alarms, and if you do that enough, you earn an achievement. There is no penalty for doing this. Alright, sadly we can't skateboard indoors, so I'm forced to utilize York's poor feet-based locomotion in order to move here. Advance we do. We are attempting to find the place where the body was stored. But the body is no longer here. It has gone missing. But nevertheless, we are investigating the place where it was. That is what is occurring in the plot right now. That picture is of Melvin's wife. That's barely a thing we're going to... It's a key plot detail. It's something that's probably not going to come for very long in the run, though. Anyway, the body was here, but before that, I'm going to collect this shiny object. What do I get? A black brass scale. That's an item that I can sell for money, and since I'm somewhat money-focused at this point in the run, I would like to collect those. There's just, like, crafting materials lying around in the form of mini shinies, like the black brass scale. That's more useful to me for its money right now than it's anything else. Thanks for the tutorial on crouching. There are footprints here. The body was here. And the final clue, because you have to look at everything, is the fact that there are fingerprints on the light above. From this, Francis York Morgan, ace detective, concludes that we need to find a 10-foot giant in order to solve the mystery. Did the game softlock? No. Excellent. There is a chance the game can just fail to load in after you investigate that room. There's a chance the game just sort of doesn't work after you finish investigating that. We have successfully evaded this possibility for the time being. I only have so much stamina to run with. We would like to get into the luxury goods warehouse, in order such as to investigate deeper, but we don't have a key. So now we must find a key. This leads to a staple of all video games that do everything. Block puzzles. Oops, this side. Except from here, there's a little funny technique that can be done. Normally you can't fit through here, but you can. That's not supposed to be the solution to that, but if you approach it at that angle and then attempt to pull, York will kind of like snap to the wrong side of the thing, so it works. You just squeeze through. Just like that. And thus, this guy, we find this guy sleeping, he has the key. And we steal it off him. Oh, please pull. I'm pressing B. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. One last shiny here. What do I get? What do I get? What do I get? Bullfrog leg. Marvelous. I don't have the values of these memorized. I don't know why I'm bothering. So, oh, bullfrog leg. Great, that's a great... I don't know what it's worth. It's worth something, probably. The key is just to collect enough to avoid debt. And that's sort of a... There's a random element to that, so that's sort of an analog problem. Anyway, we've made it to the coldest point of the warehouse. It's worth a lot to the bullfrog. I can imagine. We need to be let in here, but Avery cannot hear us. He's got AirPods in. Like, literally, he's listening to music. So our solution to this is a puzzle, except the game tells you what to do, so it's not exactly a puzzle. We're going to shoot this alligator head, and it falls down and gets Avery's attention. And so he lets us in. Now we can investigate, and our goal is to find a flying serpent. The flying serpent refers to the dragonfly on this crate back here. It's the crest of the Clarkson family, the powerful family who runs the small town. So we now know that they're connected to the case by way of York's insistence that this is true. If these clues seem like they have a very vague relationship with anything, it's not just because my explanation is disjointed because this is a speedrun. The game is just like that. Alright, the next portion of this run is squirrel murder. En route to Miss Carpenter's house so we can play a fun prank on her in the night, we're going to kill a bunch of squirrels because we need their tails. We need 6 squirrel tails for an objective later in the game, and now is the best time to do so. So we're going to punch a bunch of squirrels to death. That's just what happens. Let's find squirrels. Where are they? Here are some squirrels. There's a pack of squirrels. Oh, the blue one. You're worth $7. Rare kill bonus. $7. Love it. Chicory fur. Chicory fur. Nope, those aren't tails. Tail. 3 fur. No tails. No tails. How about that? I need tails. Tails, please. Come here. Punch the squirrel. Skull. That's pretty rare, but it's not a tail. Fur. Yikes. Tail. Excellent. 1 out of 6. We need 6 tails. I could have had it by now, but that is some RNG. Tail. 2 out of 6. 3 out of 6. That's mediocre, but there's plenty more. Blue squirrels are nice spawns if they appear, because they drop the same items and are worth $7 per kill. And $7 right now actually goes a pretty long way. Okay, more groups of squirrels to punch. Get off the board, York. Fur. More fur. Skull. 2 skulls? But only... I think I have 4 tails now. There was a whole bunch of stuff that happened
Patty. There. I'm going to try asking you that question again.
Please don't.
What do you do?
5 tails, I think. Did that squirrel drop a cola? It stole my cola and I picked it back up again. I think that's 6. I think I got 6. I kind of got a bit lost there. I might punch this next group to make sure. But 6 tails are necessary for an objective in the next chapter. So I'd rather not undershoot. I guess it's not that bad. You can always... Okay, observe how this grass texture doesn't quite... It's just kind of spilling out into the road there. Gonna make absolutely sure. Okay, I definitely have enough. I got 2 from that. Okay, I've definitely got enough now. Don't worry about the sleeping bag was stolen from you. Squirrels steal items from you, but if you punch them quickly, you get it back again immediately. It's fine. Do not concern yourselves with it. Right, so we've arrived at Bowling Lady's house, and now we're going to sleep on her lawn until it's 10:30 at night. Because when it's 10:30 at night, we can plant the alligator statue that we bought earlier on her doorstep. This will scare her into not going to the bowling alley tomorrow, so we can bowl at it instead. I slept in her yard. My hotel fee was deducted from my money, so I'm increasingly broke, and I got chills from sleeping on her lawn all night. Chills is bad because it reduces your maximum stamina, but I've accounted for the possibility that you are very likely to get chills from doing this. That's why I picked up the Cold Be Gone from the toolbox at the very, very start of the game. This is a perfectly logical interaction. Theoretically, riding the skateboard consumes stamina. In practice, it refills so quickly that you never really have to think about it. Sleeping bag broke? It does that. The yellow sleeping bags are cheap and will break with usually one use. They might survive 2 if you're lucky. Hence, I will need to advance time 5 times throughout the game, and therefore have 5. Yeah, single-use sleeping bag. You can get better ones as the game progresses, but by that point you don't need them anymore. For this run, anyway. Because we're going to do it again, since obviously the bowling alley isn't opened at night. So we're going to sleep right in front of the bowling alley until 8 AM. But as a result of this, York has effectively now slept about, I don't know, many hours in a row. He is now starving to death.
How about we grab a bite to eat?
He's not quite starving to death yet, but he's close to starving to death, but just about not. That's the key. We've successfully avoided starving to death for the time being, and that's a huge boon, because it means I don't have to eat food yet. Since there is a hunger system in this game. That's why I got the butter biscuits out of my toolbox at the start of the game, in order to deal with that. It's all about dealing with these many problems. I'm just trying to solve a murder mystery here, but you gotta, like, eat and sleep and not get a cold. Right, we've freed up the bowling alley, so now it's time to go bowling. We must bowl a strike. And bowling a strike is actually, like, kinda, you gotta... That was too much. No. That spin was horrendous, man. What are you playing at? A big failure. What were you thinking, man? The positioning must be exact. Bowling is an art. Too much to the right. No. This is not bowling. Oh, a tragedy has occurred. He's choking on bowling. Now, okay. Watch this. That's it. That's the one. Genius gameplay. Got him.
That is...
Bowling a strike.
Yeah.
It's like honestly not the easiest thing to do consistently. Your timing has to be pretty good. Here, we've unlocked bowling. Anyway, now that we've solved both of those, we have gained divine insight. And now, the Hoongan, the mysterious skeletal otherworldly gentleman, gives us our next clue. Our clue is go to where they found the body and investigate it. Brilliant detective work going on here. And for such brilliant detectivery, we get money for decrypting the oracle. And off we go. But unfortunately, we need to examine the body discovery site at 6 AM. The window of time for the next quest is 6 AM to 8 AM. You may recognize this as exactly past the time the bowling alley is open, because the bowling alley only opens at 8. So you must, in fact, advance time by another full 24 hours to advance the plot here. It is specifically set up to mess with you like that. They have designed it so that these things don't overlap. On purpose. We are receiving phone communications from the town sheriff.
So you clearly love...
Shush. Let us go over to the body discovery site. And as right now, as you can see in the top left, I'm also very nearly starving to death. Very nearly. But you can't starve to death while you're sleeping, because normally the health loss that you would take from starving is counteracted by the health gain of sleeping, because you get health back when you sleep in this game. So you can sleep for as long as you like without starving to death. Sleeping is the natural counter of starving in Deadly Premonition logic. Oh, don't hit that tree. Alright, sharp. We will sleep for 22 hours on the spot under the bridge. Now we're starving to death, and we have frostbite.
Zack, I can't go on. We need to eat something.
I will cure the frostbite, and I will eat all of the butter cookies and these 2 lollipops because they're just taking up inventory space. I get $10 for maintaining my health from the FBI. The FBI gives you $10 for maintaining your health. That is a money bonus you get for when you eat food after starving. You get health maintenance bonus. But also, the amount you're starving by also, like, sort of proportionally reduces your stamina, so you want to get your stamina back up where it is convenient to do so. But first we must skip stones in the river. This is required. You have to do this. But it doesn't matter how well you do at it, so I'm the worst stone skipper ever. Bad. 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 Terrible absolute worthless stone skipper. 0 point trash. Oh. But it's good enough. It advances the plot.
It's no. I see.
It's okay, if you were so thrilled by the stone skipping, it comes back later. Anyway, now let's inspect the crime scene, except we're actually not going to do that because we're going to look at a funny skull in the water. This is more interesting to Francis York's detective instinct. He considers this inspecting a singularity. I don't know what that means, I just know I get $20 for doing it.
What?
Paddy shows up. That cutscene is actually unique, because if Paddy was with you, it would be different. Like, the game actually has unique cutscenes for if she's with you or not, because that does actually vary depending on plot circumstance. I don't know, it's a cute detail, I guess. Oh, I got off the board, whoops. Alright, we're going over to the sugar plantation now. This is where our next lead is. There is a UFO floating in the air, that's good luck for us. Because we're going to shoot down that UFO. See that UFO over there? Very handy, helpful friend. Friendly UFO with a box attached to it. We're going to shoot it down, because shooting down a UFO gives us $20. There was a squirrel inside the box for some reason. That happens. $20 is useful to us. It will help us to avoid going into debt at the end of the chapter. I will not explain why there are UFOs, no. Do not ask. I just put that away, which I'd rather not have done. Now I want to get 3 black coffees. Yeah, that'll do. Now that I had extra inventory space, I needed to get the coffees out of the toolbox. The coffees restore your focus gauge, which we haven't touched on yet because we haven't actually done any combat. We are about to. We have entered the Deadly Premonition. These are dungeons. They exist. Welcome to the horror portion of the game. Please be prepared to post snarf in chat and nauseum.
Those movies from the 80s.
Movies. We get a little cutscene, the gun fuses with our arm, we're going to shoot out of our arm to deal damage to this scissor-wielding dude. Every time you kill a scissor-wielding enemy, snarf is said. I hope you like that voice line. It will come up a lot. Oh, a Capitano fragment. These guys drop fragments, they're good to pick up because they're worth money. Rude. Oh, there we go. Slipped on through. Some enemies are required to kill, some aren't. The only way you know this is... In fact, the only way I know this is because a friend, like, dug it out of the files. It would have been a painful trial and error process to ascertain which enemies are necessary to kill and which ones are not. But thanks to Roaming Merc, dug into the game's files and had a look-see, had a poke around. Made it clear to us. We can avoid these dudes, we don't gotta worry about them. Do you ever get real bullets? You do not. It is rubber bullets all the way down. Okay, that was 1-1. We have cleared 1-1. I now need my notes for 1-2. I have dungeon maps on another tab, because like the maps are not like proc-gen. They kind of look like it, because they look hopelessly generic, but they're bespoke layouts, I promise. So I have maps for each and every one of them, including which enemies are required to kill. And this occurs halfway through each dungeon, the profiling, where we can see into the past, future, sort of. You can just see things that are happening or will happen.
Wow.
This character, this is the stylish woman. She is a key player in the case. We will meet her later. Well, actually, we're not really going to meet her in the speedrun. We're kind of going to gloss over that. And Elise was killed with an axe. We get 20 bucks for just sort of clicking on everything. And he smokes a cigarette. And pontificates for a bit. Moving on. One, two. I didn't really need to do that. Enemies in this room must die. If I shoot things in the head, I get the sharpshooter bonus, which is beneficial to me. An extra buck or two for each one actually goes a pretty long way right now. Whatever helps you avoid going into debt at the end of the chapter is helpful. There was a high-quality Capitano fragment there. Love that. These guys are just chilling on the floor. Let me line up an easy headshot. For now, headshots work. This is key because they will stop working when we get further into the game, because some enemies just have broken heads. Their head hitboxes just don't work. So, like, the purple dudes have less health, right? And the guys who wear white have slightly more health, but furthermore, their jump attack, that thing, can inflict paralysis on you if it hits you. And you would prefer not to have that happen. Snarf. For the time being, I'm able to headshot both of this enemy type. But as enemy types get introduced, they get progressively more difficult to headshot because their headshot hitboxes get wonkier. And thus we enter the boss arena. First we must shoot that. So we'll use our charge shot. It's a real thing that we have. You can only inflict damage up to certain, like, HP gates for every single fight. So it is, in fact, more advantageous to just sort of shoot regularly there rather than charging a big shot. Babby is now formed into a big version, big boss. You never get that first shot, and I try every time and it never works.
Snap the tendons!
You missed. This character's weak spot is her breasts. There is just simply no, like, PG-13 way of saying that. Her weak spot is her boobs. What's the split? Where is she? Is it you? No. Is it you? It's you.
No! This can't be happening! Ow!
Got him. Nice. 300 bucks for beating the boss. That was actually very clean. She barely attacked, because I kept getting her down to her... Some of the big dragonfly chest? No, it's slightly lower. It's not quite there. It's... I had the same thought. I was like, oh, the weak point's the big dragonfly. It's not. It's slightly lower. It really is just... It really is the boobs. But anyway, we killed the first boss splendidly. We went very fast. And now we have imprisoned one such culprit. We fought like her otherworld psycho manifestation form. And now we will end chapter 1. We end every chapter by going back to the hotel room and reviewing the case. But that's good for us, because right now, in game time, it is a Wednesday. It is Wednesday, my dudes. We would prefer it to be Monday. The plot, it needs to be Monday to advance the plot. But if we waited until the next chapter to advance to Monday, that would involve advancing several days in a row, which would increase York's BO level to untenable amounts. And having a high BO means you get fined money every single time you go into a building, and that will rapidly drain your bank account in this game, and you don't want that. That would suck. However, between chapters, York's BO is refreshed. You're thinking, why can't you just get rid of BO in the chapter? Well, the hotel shower is broken and cannot be fixed unless you do a lengthy side quest, so York has no good way of removing his stank. Oh, the fast travel system finally unlocked, by the way. It does not lock until you finish chapter 1 of 4. We don't need it right now, though, but that's now open. You must specifically unlock the fast travel points post-unlock. Only a handful are unlocked by default. So yes, right now, Wednesday, we would like to advance to Monday, so we are going to sleep for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 4 days in a row. 5. Whatever. Numbers. Strangely, you can't see what day of the week it is indoors. But yes, so now York is going to sleep several days in a row. You can only sleep 24 hours in one sitting, so this must be done multiple times. And this is why we go into debt at the end of chapter 1, because every single time we sleep 24 hours, the hotel charges us about 158 bucks for staying. There's the BO tutorial. BO bad. We smell now. But we need it to be Monday, so this has got to be done, and it's got to be done now, because doing it later is bad routing. We're also starving to death, but like I said earlier, sleeping counteracts the effect of starvation. So we can sleep for multiple days in a row to no ill effect. See? It came up again. I need to open the map and check what day it is. Sunday, one more. Yeah. It is now Monday. We need it to be Monday for chapter 2 because Monday is the only day you can purchase beans. That is not a joke. But also it means I'm now in debt. Now we review the case and end the chapter. We smell. We smell bad. Danny Clarkson is the deceased mother. Someone stalked the victim. The murderer was Galena Clarkson. She's a mother, which is very odd indeed. But there is a stylish woman, blah blah blah. We get $10 for that. Thus bringing us above 0 because debt sort of accumulates in its own counter once you get below a certain point. Meaning you can top yourself off with any amount that gives you more money. It's explaining what happens when you hit 0 is really complicated. The game doesn't really expect you to have that happen. But happen it has. For you see, I'm about $40 in debt and will not be able to pay off. I must sell materials. I'm 3 short. Gross. I was 3 cents short after selling my Otherworld materials. That is messed up. Anyway, if you're in debt, the game expects you to sell off items you have until you are back not in debt. A thing that comes up so rarely, I once soft-locked the game by running out of items to sell.
I'm not sad.
Because the game doesn't expect you to screw up that badly.
Honestly, I can't wait. It's all I think about lately.
But okay, we have evaded debt for the time being, even though I was 3 cents short after selling all of my Otherworld materials, which is so rude.
Everyone around
3 cents.
bad taste.
Come on, man.
They don't understand things the way we do. It's a shitty world filled with shitty people. Oh,
But we need to stay out of debt to advance to the next chapter, and also we need money for the next chapter, because using the fast travel system costs money.
as soon as I get there,
That's why being stinky for chapter 2 is bad, because it would leave us with 0 money and would leave us with no access to the fast travel system.
I'm so excited, York.
This is also happening. Between chapters, we return to the, just sort of expository portion of the game where we click on things and advance through dialogue. And compressing these is impossible, because so much gets said in such a short span of time. To say nothing of the fact I'm, like, mashing through it so fast to make it all Animal Crossing ease.
But you then...
Right now, Aaliyah is criticizing Francis Morgan over here for saying every time you solved a case, you said it was a metaphysical thing. But like, what does that mean? They're criticizing his methods of murder solving by saying you claim it's like some supernatural thing. Obviously, we can't accept that because we're the FBI. That's ridiculous. Meanwhile, York over there just kind of goes, ah, ha, 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 you don't get it at all. You can't see what I see, and that's how this interaction goes around for a bit.
I knew I could...
I have simply memorized what the correct thing to press is during all of these sequences. There's a whole bunch of redundancies built into this. It is 2019. It wasn't even 2019 when this game came out.
But how... Maybe...
That's when it's set. Except you don't spend that much time in 2019. It's mostly spent in 2005.
Yes.
Right now they're discussing coffee. And here the game drops a sort of hint that Aaliyah might have a special power like Francis Morgan does, the ability to see the other world. This will never come back around full circle in the plot. This feels like a setup for something it never pays off. They're still talking about coffee. That's just what takes place during these segments of the game.
Big... Do you hear?
And now the plot development is that Simon Jones, our partner over there, needs to go to the toilet. Because he drank the coffee, and apparently it made his stomach upset. That's how that goes at the moment. This investigation, this interrogation is moving along at such a swimming pace. It paints a really flattering picture of the FBI. And as we learn from this interaction, Patricia has gone missing in the present, but was around in the past, so we're like accusing Francis of kidnapping a child, basically. But now we snap back to the past. We're done with that. We're done with the dialogue mashing. Back to gameplay, or at least what could be loosely defined as gameplay. We snap back to 2005 and discover that the Galena Clarkson, the woman who we arrested in the sugar mill, who tried to hit us with a giant tree, she's dead in she's dead in prison. She was murdered in prison. So now there are 2 murder victims occurring in this case. But once again, we get a riddle from the Hoongan.
The one who
fired the pistol at Heaven refers to the person who first discovered the body, so it's the crawfish farmer on the farm.
I'm sure. Beds.
Then the White Hall of Beds refers to the church, because the church is also the hospital. You won't know this before that point, though. And we get 15 bucks for our trouble, so now we have money to do fast travel. The general way this game is structured is that every chapter there are 2 main quests to complete. Now what they contain is usually a new mechanic. Crawfish is over there. That's a shop, believe it or not, that truck. We access this just to unlock the fast travel point. And now we're going to skate over to the church, as we require Jesus.
So, what do you think of him? Yes, I'm talking about him. Boondock, is the skeletal gentleman friend or foe? Or does he merely exist outside the realms of evil? Still too early to tell, but it's clear that he'll be the key to uncovering this case's mystery.
The dialogue cut off because I aggroed a squirrel. I just want to throw that out as the reason for that to happen. I aggroed a squirrel. And aggroing an enemy cuts off dialogue. I don't know any tricks. Tricks will be unlocked as the run progresses. In fact, you are required to unlock a skateboard trick. But okay, we go into the church and we start, quite literally, a fetch quest from the local pastor, because he says the Lord hungers, so he must find a bunch of obtuse food items for him. A can of Spam, red beans and rice, and canned spinach. This is why we needed it to be Monday, because the beans and rice cannot be purchased on anything besides a Monday, even if you ask very nicely. She just tells you, nope, it's only on Monday. So since it is required of you that the game will in fact be on Wednesday by the time you get to this point, the game is in fact designed in such a way as to make it so you must advance the clock by about 4 days in order to play the game, basically. It's like that on purpose. Like, they really, like, it's just set up that way. It seems odd that you have to sleep 4 days in a row. That's not a speed thing, really. But you do just have to do that. Anyway, we buy a can of Spam at the weird moving department store, or general store, rather. We have a can of Spam now. Good for me. Fast travel over to Alexis's. Requested oblong food items. It's true, it's true, it's true. This fast travel actually has a minimum duration before it will unload. Like, the loading times on PC are pretty quick, but the fast travel for some reason has a minimum duration. It's not actually loading anything. Is the moving food store run by the only law enforcement in town? Correct, yes.
Is this... Oh, it's...
Order red beans and rice. We request to keep the beans in the can. We've acquired it. That was the whole reason it needed to be Monday. You just can't do this if it's not Monday. Even though it is a food item that we just purchased as well, because it completes the quest, it doesn't even refill your hunger gauge. When you buy it, the game kind of scams you out of that. Now we're going to take a little detour and activate a useful fast travel point to us for later. That icon refers to the skateboard workshop. When skateboards break, you come here. However, skateboard breaking hasn't been unlocked yet. It is a thing you have to unlock, and it is a mandatory part of the plot. If you've been looking at the left side of the screen, you may have wondered why it says skateboard 100%. That's durability, but skateboard durability doesn't activate until halfway through the game. So your board is just invincible before that point. Boing. Boing. Please stop boinging, that's not fast. But since our board will break at some point per the plot, we need to activate this now. This is the most expedient time to do so. And with that activated, we head on to Azurli Frida, who has the can of spinach that we need. For the Lord Hungers. This is such a good game, it's such a good game. It's one of the games of all time, I think. Anyway, we ask him, "Do you got any spinach, mate?" And he replies, "No." He ain't got any spinach, mate. I already know this, but you can't skip ahead in this questline. It's not allowed. He tells you that the canned spinach is in a vending machine. Which vending machine, he doesn't tell you, and there are several dozen of them dotted all over through town. How do you know which vending machine it's in? You just know. Fortunately, I do just know. But if you're playing this casually, the game really does expect you to just wander around the entire town checking every single vending machine. Fortunately, I know precisely which vending machine, of which there is only one, has the canned spinach in it. I think there's two, actually. I'm pretty sure there's a second one, but it's like further away, so don't worry about it. But I think there's only two at max. There's another UFO. Oh, there's two, actually. Oh, there's three. Blessed. Whoa. There's a silver and a gold UFO over there. They give you like $100 if you shoot them down, but I can't shoot them down. I need like range upgrades on my gun before I can do that, and that's not important, so... Can't shoot them down. That's like New Game Plus type behavior. Oh, the over 5 miles traveled bonus. I get $50. Excellent. Anyway, it's over here. The exact vending machine we need is this one. So how would you know that? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. You just wouldn't. You just gotta know. We've assembled the Taboo Trinity. And now we're gonna go complete it. But while we're here, we're gonna tag another useful fast travel point for later. And also because it's a bit faster than boarding back manually. Wild dogs, that guy's gonna try and bite my butt. I'd prefer it if he didn't. Release markers for the vending machines? Kind of, but only on the map, which you have to manually open. They're not on the mini-map. It looks like you can skateboard through there, right? Wrong. There's actually a fence there. We can't see it from here due to popping. But if you try and skateboard straight through there and head to the marker, you will be scammed by the fence suddenly appearing and boxing you in. I didn't fall for the scam because I'm used to it. Activate our fast travel point. And back to the church we go. Pet the dog. The dog is an enemy. The dog attacks you. Fortunately, no dog murder is mandatory in this run, but it is very much a thing that you can and are encouraged to do. So we are not doing it. Anyway, the Taboo Trinity has been assembled so we complete our quest, and he arbitrarily asks us for more nonsense. Now we need 6 squirrel tails, which we picked up earlier. This is what those were for. 6 anaconda skins, and a pressed white guara. Do not leave this room too quickly on the quest activating, otherwise it might mess the game up. Okay. If you run out of the room too quickly, it won't register that you've actually got enough squirrel tails to complete the quest, and the quest will softlock. Walk, don't run. Walk slowly out of that room, or you'll break the quest.
What?
Now, anaconda skins are normally a rare drop that randomly occur all throughout town. And I used to do a strat where you could spawn the map on top of each other indefinitely in order to spawn lots of them, but it lagged the game really badly. But also, the game just has a failsafe for it. Once this quest starts, the park becomes full of anaconda skins. Just automatically, because they realize that this was silly, I guess, so they just spawn everything you need to pick up in the park directly next to the church. But as soon as the quest is over, they disappear. This is not, in fact, normally a location where you can even get anaconda skins. So you just have to know this is here, I guess. Six anaconda skins thus collected. We now need to find the pressed white guara. That is a specific item in a specific part of the game world. We would need to go back to the hotel for it. If we were to try and go back to the church right now and cash the quest in with only 2 out of 3 of the steps completed, the game will softlock. The dialogue just doesn't work for some reason if you do that. So don't. Anyway, now we're going to change gears. And try not to crash into these randomly spawning pedestrians. Change gears and try and go over to the swamp to investigate our second lead rather than messing around with the church. We're putting the church on hold for now. Forget about them. They don't matter anymore. We want to go to the swamp and talk to the person who first found the body, because this is an obviously more important line of inquiry. You know, we're trying to investigate a murder here. So let's have a go. I've never gotten the game to crash, no. I'll give the game that. I've never crashed it. Unity's actually pretty alarmingly hard to crash. However, we cannot make this jump. Very tragic. This is where we want to go. All the way down there to the big swamp.
Okay, Zach. It's time to put our skills to the test.
And now cutscene York will take it from here. Look at him go. Yeah, no. Bogus. York is big stinky and crashes the board. It is broken now. This is where board durability comes into play. Your board instantly breaks the second this quest starts. This is why we tagged the fast travel point. Because now York obviously like phones up the sheriff and being like, do you have anyone who knows how to repair a skateboard? And he's like, go talk to Emma, I guess? We unlocked the fast travel point for her workshop earlier, but unfortunately we can't board, so we have to walk there. If we didn't tag the fast travel point, we would have had to walk the entire length of the game map in order to get there. This is bad. So we did a little setup by activating a fast travel point earlier. We still have to walk to the nearest fast travel point, which is a ways. You know, it's not a short distance. Fined $5 for having a skateboard failing the requirement of wheels. Every time you break a skateboard from this point on in the game does fine you for it. There is a penalty for breaking your skateboard, and yet also an achievement for breaking your skateboard 10 times. So you are simultaneously penalized and encouraged to do that. How often does it break? It will never break again for the entire run. You have to smash your face into walls constantly. People have like a specific setup for getting the achievement where you break your board a ludicrous number of times by like deliberately getting York stuck in a wall, so it procs him hitting the wall every frame so the board breaks super quickly. Fast travel! But in normal gameplay, you'll basically never break the thing on, like, by accident. It just won't happen. So this mechanic that they introduce is largely pointless. But now we fast travel to the skateboard workshop and meet Emma, who wears a simply fantastic shirt. She is our skateboard mentor. She will teach us the way of the skate. I don't know, I like the shirt that just says baptize on it. I would wear that shirt, I think. I think that's very stylish. Anyway, we ask Emma, how do we jump? And Emma duly teaches us. Sick. So now, in order to progress the plot, we must clear the skateboard course in order to learn how to do a sick wally. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I'm not a skater, can you tell? Now, this challenge is meant to teach you how to skate by, you know, doing jumps off the ramps. Here's the problem. Actually doing that is both slow and very likely to softlock the game, because you're jumping, I'm going to do it exactly once. Whee! Your jumping goes insanely far. So if you do it in the wrong place, it is extremely easy to launch yourself out of bounds. So, like, don't. Like, honestly, like, jumping in these skateboard courses is playing with fire. Bonk. I've cleared the skateboard course, and my time was 4:20, which is not bad. Too sick for tricks. You're very likely to break the game if you do it, like, because you get such ridiculous air. In fact, as well, this is a thing that broke in the transition to PC ports slightly, because the amount of air you get off a jump scales off the frame rate, and it works more, like, reasonably in the Switch version, because the Switch version doesn't run very well, but on the PC version, which I can run at a successful 144 frames per second, your jumps just go crazy far, and you're very likely to break something. Going off a ramp is not a wally? I didn't think so either, but that's what the game calls it. Anyway, we activate a fast travel point and get out of here. I've unlocked skating. We're heading back to the hotel. That's where we'll find the pressed white guara. We're once again changing gears. Going back to the church quest. And now we're going to interact with the bellboy, the concierge, and the chef, all of which are the same person wearing different outfits. But the bellboy isn't here right now. He tells us he'll be back in the jiffy. We gotta hurry for the chef. But he was right there, but now he's not here. He's gone. So we go to L'Ananas. And the chef. We find the chef. And he tells us basically, I don't know anything about flowers. I'm the chef. So the chef is of no help to us whatsoever. So we need to go find the concierge again, and he's like, no, I'm not here, go talk to the bellboy. But the bellboy is here now that we've talked to the concierge who wasn't there. And the bellboy is the same person, he's the same guy, but now he likes flowers because the bellboy likes flowers, but the chef doesn't. And he tells us that the flower we seek is in the bathroom. because that's where he keeps the flowers. This bathroom sucks as well, by the way. There's one stall and 2 urinals, and nothing else. Oh, 3 actually, I miscounted. Sorry, my mistake. And the one bathroom stall looks like this.
Zach. Deep South.
Thanks for that interjection. Anyway, we steal a flower from the bathroom.
Got it. It's...
Now that we've stolen this flower from the bathroom, we are done here. We have no more need of bathroom. I simply don't have a better explanation for what you just saw than what you saw. The game doesn't really dwell on it for that long either. And now we've got everything we need to complete the church quest. And by completing the church quest, it is revealed that all of these items we were collecting was so he could make a drum for us.
Just take it, Agent York.
He made a drum for us out of cans and anaconda skins and stuck a squirrel tail on it for no adequately disclosed reason. This helps us investigate the ongoings in the murder because we stumble onto a key suspect in the case's medical records while we're in there. That feels like a violation of privacy, but York doesn't seem even the least bit bothered by it.
Hey. No.
That is how all of that nonsense helps us advance the plot. But now we're going to change gears again. We could investigate, you know, the key suspect's house, but we still need to go talk to the person who first found the body. So we're going to do that. You know, now that we have the ability to jump. Except, jumping with the skateboard only works on ramps. You can't just do it anywhere. Doing it anywhere, thanks for that. That was a very cool bonk. Jumping anywhere is a skill that you don't unlock until you're very, very far down the skateboard questline, and we're not going to get there in a run. And typically, as you may expect, the ability to jump anywhere does absolutely horrendous things to the physics. Like, oh, I'm having such fun jumping everywhere. Oops, I'm stuck in the floor now. And big jump. And now we're going to skate through all of these. That's a rare wolf, you can tell, because it's a different color. However, I don't have time to stop and punch it. And also, it wouldn't be useful to me to do that anyway. Oh, look, another one. That's good spawn chance, mate. I totally ran into that tree. Saved by the cutscene trigger. Anyway, we meet the person who first found the body. He basically tells us to get stuffed. He doesn't tell us anything interesting. We unlock Talisman for that, which is a type of stat-increasing item that affects your prowess in minigames. We're never going to use any because it never comes up. Patty is pointing at a bin. I don't know why. She also then teleported. And then we're gonna go to the skateboard workshop because it's the closest point to the next thing we need to investigate, which is the suspect's house. Because she lives in a corner of the map. Anyway, we go to investigate the key suspect's house. And the main takeaway that we receive from trying to do this is that she's not home. Yep, she's not in. Yeah, they have a dialogue about this. I'm very deliberately not summarizing what is being said right now because honestly, it's a lot of guff and it's also very uncomfy. The plot takes a bit of a turn at this point. And any attempt at compressing it would probably come across as weird and flippant, so I'm just not going to do it. All we need to know is that the key suspect is in fact at a bar and not her house. We know this because a skeletal man told us.
What?
Why is this child helping a detective with a murder case? Because she insisted. She shoved a napkin in our face and told us to sign a contract to protect her from all worldly harm, and we signed it, and that means if she gets hurt, we lose $150 every time she gets hurt. The game will flash up a warning that says breach of contract fee. Right, groovy. To the bar it is. Does she get the money? This sounds like it could be a scam. You know, I'd never thought about it that way. What about otherworldly harm? That also deducts, and that will come up at some point. Sorry, I'm yawning back here. It is 7 AM local time. I have stayed up all night for this. As soon as this run is over, I'm going to bed. I am... die. Thank you forever. Anyway, we're skating over to the bar. This is where the plot will happen. Boing. But the bar is not open until 5 PM, and you may notice that it is not in fact 5 PM, so we're once again going to camp outside the bar. We're going to camp outside a location again in advance time. This is why we got the other sleeping bags. What's 5 into 17? What's 5 PM in 24-hour time? I got chills, whack. Anyway, the bar is open. We're once again inspecting the singularity. The singularity is that there's a sign. It says good drank. That's the clue. You get 20 bucks for that, and that's an important 20 bucks. Because we went into debt there ever so slightly due to the hotel fee expiring when we slept. But the 20 bucks we get from the singularity inspection puts us back in the black, and that's good because we will need to use fast travel as soon as we get back out of the bar. So there's a built-in nice money buffer there. By way of the 20 bucks you get from the singularity inspection. A cutscene occurred there where we met the suspect. She drugged us. We passed out. She left. And now she's heading to the Clarksons' estate, the place where the powerful family lives. She is going to kill them. So we're going to go chase after her to stop her from doing that. That's where the plot is going right now. There will be more murders if we do not stop this. I'm going to also go out of my way to cure the cold that I caught by camping outside the bar, because that's inconvenient. Having a cold cuts into your stamina, and I'd rather have maximum stamina for the upcoming dungeon. As the upcoming dungeon is, I think, the longest dungeon in the game. Despite it not being the final one. Right. I invite you to look at the red triangle at the top of the screen that shows you how far away the objective is. It's 3,000, I think yards is the unit the game uses. It's 3,000 number away. This is a significantly larger number than previous objectives have been away from us. This is because the Clarkson estate is on the furthest northern point of the map, and there is nothing else between these points that would require us to be anywhere vaguely in the vicinity of it. This is just a very, very long stretch of skateboarding. So, how are we all doing tonight? The game really just makes you skateboard several kilometers just because. Donations? Does Big Bad Game-a-thon do donations? I don't think so. Yeah, those of you waking up to this run, I'm sorry. This is just part of the run. And even the music fails there because it becomes 8 PM as we're doing this, and the music cuts at 8 PM in the outside world. No, I tried to get run over on purpose and I bounced off the car. Now, this distance, while incredibly questionable that it just makes you skateboard this manually, there is genuinely no good way to speed this up in the slightest. You can't. Accessing the fast travel point requires you to go up here anyway, so you gotta do this. It does mean that by the time we are done with this, we will have obtained the bonus for traveling 10 miles. Because pretty much every time you do this, by this point in the run, you have traveled far enough for this to tip you over the 10-mile mark. And that's useful because the 10-mile bonus is $100, which will put us back in the black. So we've once again managed our debt. So it works out somehow. Somehow the money routing just about works itself out automatically at this point of the run. Streetlights only on one side of the street, and they don't really like render in properly until you get like 2 feet away from them as well. Like not quite, there you go, now it's lighting. Like not quite lighting, now it's lighting. Oh, you watch out for the car. I tricked you. You thought I was gonna get hit, you thought wrong. As far as I'm concerned, they're on the wrong side of the road. Like, I have right of way here. Like, I'm skating on the left side of the road and everything. So why are they incoming? I don't get it. Do not tell me where this game is set. I'm not interested. Almost there. I think we're about to proc the 10-mile bonus around about now. Damn, if I procced at that moment, there we go. It's just slightly off. My timing was just, I would have looked so good if I was exactly on the money with that one. Like I was approximately right, but just a little bit out. Comedic timing, man. Anyway, we've made it to the Clarkson's estate, and the most fun property of the Clarkson estate is that my skateboard is now invisible. I don't know why this happens, but it's very consistent, so... my board is just invisible now, don't worry about it. Sick jump, right in... Aw, I didn't quite go in. Anyway, we've made it to the second dungeon of the game. The Clarkson estate. Unlike the first dungeon, which was only 2 levels, the Clarkson estate is 4 levels, and they're fairly long ones. This is, again, I think this is the longest and most complicated dungeon in the game, despite it being the second one. Which leads me to believe that it was probably intended to be, I don't know, penultimate somehow, but it's not. Welcome to the other world again. Woo! Okay, good, got him. A new enemy type is introduced here. Don't know if you can hear me over the snarfing. The door guys. The door guys, don't shoot them in the door. You want to shoot them in their face instead. What am I doing? They go oof og. I've made a wrong turn somewhere. Hang on, I need to recenter myself. I've taken a wrong turn somewhere and confused myself in the process. Here we are, okay. You have to die. You also have to die. The door guy drops, like, crabs that explode and kill you. They're like crab padlocks. I prefer it if he doesn't do that. I'll probably be able to get him before he does that for now, but later on it becomes almost impossible to avoid. They spawn in. Boom, boom. Very loud snarfing is occurring. I get the double kill bonus for every single one of those, which is 22 bucks each, which is not bad. That means I get 44 bucks for this room and this room alone. Also helpful for evading dead. See, like, that's the problem. Stunned him. There's the crab padlocks. The crab locks. Is snarfing like squanching? I don't know what either of those words mean. Can I get through? No, I can't. You're in the way. Oh, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. Door stuck. I got him. It's okay. Profiling begins again, and this time we're looking at an event that is, like, taking place in the future, kind of? Because this just, I don't know, you can just see whatever.
Now you decide.
Yes.
Everyone's pointing guns at each other, they're all mad, there's a bomb in the fireplace that's gonna kill them all. The stylish woman, she come here to murder everyone in her family. For somewhat nebulous reasons that I will not go into. $20 for me. And we move on to level 2-2. I have these all laid out in my notes, which is good for me. You must die, as must you. Headshots become very difficult at this stage. And this next room, this whole next room is a scam. You don't need to do anything in here. And so I won't. I refuse. Hit the bricks. But this room's full of stuff and you gotta kill everything in here. Meanwhile, these guys will definitely follow in behind you, so might as well get them. You gotta spawn in these enemies, and every time you duck into a side room, it spawns more dudes in the big room. But you gotta duck in and kill all of them. Like, this is required, you have to. The only way I know which enemies kill what is by just trial and error. Not trial and error. Merc, like, literally went through the files to find out. There's also some trial and error. Because you can look at what's required, but they won't tell you what's in the way. I ran out of... Oh, there we go. I think that's all of them, so now we're just going to get rid of the one dude in front of this, who is also required. And that should unlock it. Yep, got them all. Got them all. That is necessary. All of those enemy kills were in fact required, even though it probably didn't look it. 2, 3, 4. Rude. Nope. Dodging that jumping attack is good, because if you get hit, there's a chance you can get paralysis, and paralysis is really, really frustrating to deal with. It does precisely what you think it does in the context of this game. It just means that sometimes when you fire the gun, it doesn't work. Thanks. No. Is it ever explained why the other old enemies are clown-like? No. They just are. Anyway, now we're talking to some sort of, like, otherworld projection of a person who we're not actually seeing in person. This is considered a valid form of evidence to this guy. The old version of Dead Premonition is actually stable and playable. Like, at a push, I guess the Switch version. That guy's head hitbox is broken. That's the stronger variant of the door enemy. The green ones, notably different because they're a very slightly different shade. Their head hitboxes for dealing critical damage don't work. So like purple dude, I can get a headshot on the purple dude, in theory. Yeah. The purple dude can be headshot perfectly fine. To deal bonus damage and stun them. The green version of the door dude, their head hitboxes don't work. So you cannot headshot them. I don't need to kill these dudes, so I'm not going to. Although I probably will kill them anyway, as they will get in the way. Those kills aren't technically required, but they get in the way really badly, so it's better to kill them. Nope. Turn around, please. Thank you. Killing all those enemies opens the next pathway forward. I found an antidote for whatever good that is. Excuse me. Ooh. They're scandalously in the way. Shoot him. Get it. Turn around. Whoa. I got like stabbed in the back because that guy had a moment and it really threw me off. I've never quite seen it do that before. Okay, 3-3. No, not much ceremony needed for that one. Nope. Oh, yikes. This has gone away from me. Ooh, not in range. Disappointing. You have to die. Oh, no. Friend, can you get out of the way, please? Thank you. Okay. It's like a lot happening now. Everything in this room must die. Counts as a headshot. Killed them all. Yeah, this is at the point where I actually kind of have to start, like, paying attention to what I'm doing in order to, like, play the game smoothly. Why would you reload there? Look at him just run past and keep stabbing me. What on earth are you doing? I got paralyzed. That is obnoxious. Paralysis is a very bad status effect. It means that sometimes when you go to cure yourself, you just don't. Wait, did the door open? No, different door. It'd be really nice if I could headshot those guys. Hello? Ow. There are more than 2 enemy types. There are, in fact, a whole 3. We just haven't met the 3rd one yet. Sorry, the lateness of this run is, like, actually, it's starting to get to me. I can feel it. The enthusiasm started off high, but I can, like, my brain is, like, suddenly entering, like, go to bed mode. It's 7 AM, what are you doing? Why are you still awake? But, like, I've got, like, an hour of the run to go. I'm dying. Please send me your strength. No, okay, boss fight. I have another boss fight. This one starts the same way as the last one, where Babby is born. Okay, phase 1 done. Then we will fight Norman as fire individual.
This is true.
Ow. Why you gotta be like that?
No one can stop my...
Once again, we want to try and get her to certain health gates without over-damaging or under-damaging. Oh, I did not want to get hit by that. Nice. Sniped.
I'm supposed to be invincible.
Although I'm facing the wrong way. Oh, 26 health. Nope, I got it.
No one will be left to tell you about the plan.
That was 1 hit shy of killing.
No.
And that attack is usually really rude. It's okay. I might be dying a bit, but that's fine, as long as I'm not dead. You heal at the start of every chapter, so it is fine. Anyway, we failed to prevent the bomb in the fireplace going off, so everyone's dead. Everyone involved is dead. There are now approximately 7 casualties as a result of this investigation. We're not a very good detective, honestly. We're pretty bad at this.
Did you notice it yet? The streets in New Orleans were...
He only cares about the streets.
all busted up and undergoing maintenance.
Enough of that. Activate the fast travel. We're going to the sheriff's office. Because apparently the sheriff, Melvin, has gone missing. And his daughter is upset about that. Except the sheriff's department doesn't actually open until 7 AM, so we're actually going to sleep outside of the sheriff's office. One final time, we're going to sleep outside the sheriff's office. This is why I wasn't concerned about the fact I'm currently bleeding to death. Because, like I said, sleeping heals you in this game. It's also critical that you don't overshoot the time on the sheriff's office by too much. Because your time carries over into the next chapter pretty readily, so if you go too far on this one, you'll mess the timing up for the next chapter. You'll mess the timing up for the next chapter. The clock matters. You gotta pay attention to it. So come here, only advance the time to 7. Not 8, not 9, and certainly not 10. 10 is far too much. Anyway, we've picked up Patty. Presumably she was just inside the locked building all night. And now we go back to the hotel.
Were you thinking about Galena too? And all the other women we've seen so far on our travels across the states? Zach, I'm right, aren't I? This is a...
Oops. I bonked the wall. I bonked the wall. Bonking interrupts the conversation. Terrible. I have restricted stamina because I'm both starving to death and have a cold. But okay, back to the hotel room with us. And we will once again organize the case and complete the chapter. Trek Thompson is a crawfish farmer. That's his occupation. I don't know why that's relevant. It's not really. Helena Dorman is now dead. She killed a whole bunch of people with a bomb. We literally just saw that happen. This has been like organizing evidence of the now. We don't know who killed Galena. That's our evidence. Very good. Master Detective. We're about 2 hours into this run and still York has no real clue what's going on. Now we're a baby.
Soon. I'm almost there. Just... please.
Actually, we were a crawling old man looking at a baby. Tricked.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Of what grander significance this is to the goings-on, I could not tell you. That's just a thing that happens. And we're back to the expository interlude portion of the game. Oh, you haven't missed the Tony Hawk section. We're going to grind off alligators in the next portion of this game. That's a thing that happens.
More than ever, she's... Are you... He and fine. I'll just... Would you...
But for now, we are once again pressing Old York for details on the case. He doesn't really provide them.
Don't. And when most of what you say is disjointed and illogical.
Good. That's my favorite voice stab in the whole game. The fact that you can't skip the cutscene before she gets that line off. Most of what you say is disjointed and illogical. Most of what he's saying. Anyway, then Old York goes to sleep in the bathroom.
What acts?
And so we have a chat among ourselves about the fact that we think that Old York has Patricia inside his house. You know, now that York is sleeping in the bathtub. The brief shot when she said disjointedly lied to me she was rolling a joint. York was in fact rolling a joint at that point, yes. It's in fact a plot element at this point in the game that York does a lot of weed. Anyway, we think Patricia Clarkson is behind this very door. So we go in, you know, like a police person does. And instead we find stuffed heads of bears set up to look like the deceased. I mean, that one's an elk, but whatever. Basically, he's dedicated a whole room of his house to looking like previous murder scenes from the cases, and then the game spoils itself by showing you that Melvin dies on the board there. Melvin dies, by the way. The game, in fact, draws attention to this, so it is no longer surprising. We have unearthed a rat corpse, and then York shows up and starts strangling Aaliyah. And then we fade out to back to 2005. Back to gameplay. Only now, 2 hours and approximately into the speedrun, and chapter 3 out of 4 of the video game, are we now in fact investigating the crime scene. This is the first time you investigate the crime scene in the game.
What is...
The only thing we investigate, really, are burnt bits of stone and grass. They're the key clues to the case. For reasons, I guess. It makes sense to York. We're a detective and this wasn't the first step. No, York doesn't properly investigate the crime scene until 3 chapters into the game. That's how his detectiving works. And then the crawfish farmer comes back to basically tell us once again to go away. So, Chad, I have a question for you. Do you like dogs? Specifically, do you like Dalmatians? Because we're going to be seeing a lot of a Dalmatian at this point in the run, but first we must solve the riddle. Fortunately, the menu defaults to the correct solution. Trees. Trees are where we're going next.
There's no... The great...
So our next 2 destinations are a water tower and some trees. I'm trying very hard to stifle a yawn backstage here. I'm very glad I don't have my webcam, like, on the layout, because there isn't one on Big Bad Game-a-thon layouts. That is a blessing for me right now, because I think you would be looking at the face of a man who is like 3 hours away from passing out at his keyboard, if you could see right now. Anyway, we fast traveled to the tree fast travel. That's one of the reasons we got that way earlier. Because it puts us in convenient tree fast travel range. That's a use your words, Punchy. Good lord. These quests in Chapter 3 have to be done in a very particular order for a particular reason. But let it be known, I will explain that in more detail later. But for now, know that if you do these quests in the wrong order, you lose many minutes. Minutes of time due to a quirk of how the game works. But okay, the tree side quest. We find a red seed at this destroyed tree, and now we want to find all the red trees through town. This dog will lead us to the trees.
Zach, doesn't it...
The dog will guide us to the trees. The dog just kind of appears. Follow the eerie Dalmatian. We are now going to follow this dog to various trees for about the next 13 minutes. Unironically, this is just what happens. You cannot push the dog to accelerate its speed. The dog can push you, though. That's pretty cool. But, dog following occupies a abnormally high proportion of this game's runtime. Why does the dog know? How do we know the dog knows? Why does it like seeds? The dog is the devil. I'm not going to elaborate on that statement, but just know that it's true. The dog is a demon. The dog knows where the red seeds and the trees are because it's a demon. But there are sadly no meaningful way to accelerate the pace of this segment. If you get too far away from the dog, you fail out of the segment and you have to restart it, which I assure you, you don't want. You don't want that. You can't push the dog. You can't go ahead to the destination and just wait, even if, like, you gotta get pretty far away from the dog to fail. You gotta get, like, a pretty decent length of the town away from it. But, even if you were to go ahead to the destination and just wait there, it still wouldn't matter because the dog has to be near you before it triggers. It's literally a demon in the lore. The dog is evil, fundamentally. Time to escape or something? You can if you want. I just avoid it because if you go off a funny bump with the skateboard, there's a chance you just clip through the floor at any given moment. And if I soft-locked here, I would have to reload the save and repeat the segment, which would be probably critically bad for the estimate. And also, because I'm dying as we speak right now. Boy, am I glad is it a 3-day weekend in the UK. I will need the time to recuperate. Thank you for your dying. I swear, I do it for the people. I do it for the people. Yeah, for anyone wondering, what qualifies the game to be in Big Bad Game-a-thon? Well, it's big, literally, in terms of the available play space, and it makes you do things like follow a dog around. I wrote a Steam review for this game, and the only words in the review are, "This game sucks, it's great, thumbs up." That's how I feel about Deadly Premonition 2. This game sucks, is great. I can't get... There we go. I was, like, stuck inside them for a moment there. Check out this nice seam in the world, where they've just kind of... That's the San Andreas fault. This game is in Louisiana. Look at the ground to increase frame rate. This makes the dog run faster. I could say something like that. That's totally not true in the slightest, but if I said it confidently enough, people would believe it. That's the thing about marathon commentary. There's so much trust put in you to not lie. But I could just say anything right now. Doing big loop-de-loops makes it go faster. Is that true? No. Do I want it to be true? Yes. Whoa, yeah. This dog has way too much focus. Real dogs get distracted way easier than this. Actually, I say that the dogs get distracted easier than this. Here's a part where they just kind of throw this in to mess with you. The dog just kind of runs in a circle here for a moment. That's not like random or anything. To be clear, the dog isn't random. It follows a completely predetermined path. There's no randomness to it in the slightest. This is perfectly consistent every time. It just does that. It's just programmed to do that. For most games, there are other runners you call out and keep me honest. This game does have a few other runners. Believe it or not, this game actually... this game has more runners than some other things I run that are objectively less stupid than this. There's like 5. There are 5 of us. The dogs are arbitrary, like ghosts. It's true. 100% run Ren. Let's try that again, shall we? 100% for this game. For those of you who don't know what 100% for this game entails, 100% for this game entails doing things like spending 365 days of in-game time in the town, collecting several thousand shinies, bowling 30 perfect games of bowling. It would be an endeavor that would take several days in a single sitting. I think only one person has, like, done it. I think only one person on the planet has a documented 100% of this game. Because it takes an absurdly long amount of time doing incredibly stupid activities. I tell my chat that the only way I'm ever doing 100% run is if they give me 2,000 subs. And every single time I say that, I increase the number. Yeah, in fact, actually, Lord of the Salt is correct. 100% wasn't even possible until the PC version came out. There was a bug in the Switch version that rendered 100% impossible, and it was never fixed. It's still not fixed. It wasn't fixed until the PC version, and we didn't even know it was fixed until the guy who 100%ed it went and 100%ed the PC version again to see if it worked this time, and it does. It was stealth fixed in the PC version, but not ever patched on Switch. So the Switch version, you can never get 100% in, but the PC version, you just about can. It just about works. There's a broken quest line in the Switch version. That's what the bug is. Anyway, that's the second tree of 3. You gotta respect the guy who spent, like, literally probably about 100 hours of his life to 100% this game just to see if you could on the, like, just to see if they patched a bug. And it turned out they actually had. I don't know what's weirder, someone doing that or the fact they actually did fix it. Anyway, this is the last dog following segment. We only have one more tree left to hit. Although it's not a short one by any means, so we could just continue talking about whatever. It's kind of just how this segment goes. Oh, he just runs on the tree for a bit there. Having fun, are we? And then the dog performs a bold maneuver and starts to swim. We can't swim. We're worthless. And so the dog escapes. Except it actually doesn't. We just kind of have to cross the river. Like you got like a lot of time to do this. You don't even gotta like be in much of a hurry. We'll just like, you know, sit here. There are gators in the water, but not here. I think they actually specifically despawn in the area. The dog has made it over. And thus, once again, the following continues. I appear to be stuck inside the dog. Imagine you're on world record pace and the dog gets eaten by a gator. I think that would be the good ending, personally. Is this game really bad? I mean, it's got like a 58 on Metacritic or something. It wasn't exactly the most well-received thing on launch. It is above failing? I mean, not in video games, it's not. Yeah, this riveting dog-following gameplay did not, in fact, review very well with the professional, like, critic base. What foolishness. Critics don't understand dogs. If I had a flashlight, I could examine that grate and I'd get $100 every time I did that, but the flashlight is a side quest. So it doesn't appear in this run. But you can devastate the local economy in this game by looking at gratings. Almost there now, I promise. Maybe. Are we almost there? No, not really. This is my favorite part of the dog following side quest. It runs into the yard, and then decides, actually, no, that was a bad idea, and leaves immediately. Realistic dog behavior. It's true. It's true. Yeah, this is padding. There is no nice way to put this. This is here to make the game longer. And it is successful at that. You left, came back, it's still the dog following thing. We're getting there. I promise. We're getting there. We're in the cornfield now. That's not corn, that's sugarcane. Actually, is it corn? I don't know what corn looks like. I'm pretty sure that's sugarcane. Right, so note a property of dog. The dog can run through the sugarcane, you can't. And so, the dog takes off through the sugarcane, leaving you in the dust. The game attempts to confuse you ever so slightly here by having the dog cut a diagonal path through the sugarcane, while you can't. So it attempts to throw you off pretty much right at the end. If you get caught out by that, honestly, you just lose like 10 minutes of your life. But we're almost there. We're in fact now almost there. This entire game ended up being time of my life I want back. I wouldn't go that far. It's art, guys. Don't you get it? I get it. We did it. We made it to the final tree. We have now cleared the dog quest. And it's important that the dog quest is cleared first. If you do it second, things break. Well, they don't break, but you lose time. Am I having fun? I'm very tired. It is very nearly 8 AM local time. I know I'm kind of counting the hours here. That's like not the greatest. So, oh man, he's doing this in the middle of the marathon, but like I am so dying over here. It is wearing on me. I am going to sleep until like 6 PM tomorrow. Alright, to the water tower. To the water tower. Ooh, 2 rare dog spawns. Look at that. Side by side. That is not important to the run in the slightest, but they are there. You know, this is a Switch game. This game's not even that old.
This thing sure looks tough.
But okay, we need to fill up the water tower because we have discovered that this water tower is bad at having water in it, which seems like a critical flaw in the local infrastructure, personally. So we're gonna head over to Isaac Lake and find out what's wrong. We've already been to Isaac Lake, but we're gonna have to go there anyway. Tagging the fast travel point for this area is completely useless. We don't come back here. And there's no fast travel point at Isaac Lake to walk to and fro from. If there was, it would be pretty handy, but there isn't. It doesn't exist. Anyway, York can also perfectly skate on these very useful train tracks that just kind of go to nowhere. The terrain is irrelevant to York. He can skate on anything. He's pretty much the greatest. Whoa, even on the train tracks? Yeah, York can crook pretty much about everything. Alright, this time when we go to Isaac Lake... This time... You strive to be brainless, Randy. We should all strive to be brainless, Randy Cromdizzle. Right, we need to head to the central water processing area. I don't know what you call these. Pumping station, I guess? We are being besieged by alligators while we do this. So we are going to skate masterfully. You got nothing. This guy? A punk. He's got nothing. You ain't got nothing. Nothing. Now. That alligator is in the floor. Supposed to be a rubber bullet, by the way. But definitely...
Open the door, Patty!
Like, knocks an eye out.
Now, Patty!
Whoa! And that's that. We've escaped from the gators. You can, in fact, fight the gators with, like, your gun and all that, but, you know, speed runs. We don't really have a reason to decimate the local ecosystem. You know, aside from squirrels, those guys can get punched. And now we leave. We have supplied water to the water tower. That's the whole quest. This is a very short quest compared to the length of the other one, which is absurdly long. Oh, I know rubber bullets are still dangerous. It's just the way sort of like blood spurts out of the face in that cutscene leads me to think that they sort of forgot that the bullets are supposed to be not like handgun. I don't know why it's rubber bullets in the first place. I think it's just because they let you shoot NPCs. But obviously, you know, firing a handgun with real bullets at random people in the simulator game might not come off that well. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that, because it's stupid. I've done the quest.
Look.
Clear. Oh yeah, this guy lost his arm in a cutscene we skipped. It was eaten by an alligator. That happens.
You rotten little snakes! This is...
You rotten little snakes! Thanks, Danny. He has a mental breakdown. York basically tells him, lol, lamau, and that's the exchange. And now the last clue that we're stuck on from the Hoongan is something about lady's finger, which York doesn't recognize, but Paddy does. Paddy recognizes it as a slang term for okra. Which is apparently a Southern American thing, because I didn't know that either.
Really?
And Patty says she'll take us there. This is why it's important to do these quests in this order. Anyway, we're also now going to bully a child. Because you can, in fact, push, unlike the dog, you can push Patty, so there's actually, like, strats to this one. Manage your stamina, and you can push Patty forward and save time. Sadly, you can't push the dog. If you could, it would make that whole section also a lot more entertaining. But once again, we are following a character, but at least this one, we can bully into going faster. But also, yes, this is the reason it's important you do these quests in this order. Because if you don't do them in this order, is Paddy going to run into the wall? No. If you don't do them in this order, the Paddy escort thing here starts from the location of the last quest you completed. Which, if you finish the water tower quest second, means you're closer to the point where you need to be, meaning this escort section is relatively brief. If you do the tree quest second, it means that you'll start from the tree, and the tree is on the other side of the town, relative to where you need to be. Exactly the opposite side of the town, doubling the length of this section. Can't push her with the skate? Oh yeah, no, you cannot push her with the skateboard, you will bounce off. The skateboard is made of rubber. You can only push her with your body. The skateboard, you'll glance off, and that's bad. In fact, you'll actually take durability damage to the skateboard if you try. Go, go, go. Go, child, go. Go faster. Yeah, the thing we're doing here, you see, is using the skateboard to get in front of her. To build stamina, because the skateboard can travel without draining your stamina too frequently. Getting in front like that. And then getting off, such that when she immediately gets back in front of you, and you start pushing her again. That's the push and pull of this situation. Use the skateboard to regenerate your stamina, get off the ball when she's about to get in front of you, and then push her with the stamina you've gained. But it's also, you gotta be careful about the hows of where you push her, because you can absolutely push her into walls. And then she gets stuck, and then you're sad, because you're a silly, soft-locked idiot. Patty's ankles splinter wood. You just can't push her with the skateboard. It just doesn't take. Just doesn't take. There's a car. There's a car. There's a car. Okay. I heard that, and I'm glad I heard that, because I'm honestly not sure what happens if Patty gets hit by a car here, and I'd rather not find out. There we go. We have successfully pushed her all the way to the bridge.
That's good.
Where there is a large mascot of okra, and it's pointing at this. This is our clue. The clue is the bridge control room. Car. Okay, it missed. I was really worried about what that was going to do. Because, like, if you're thinking, oh, you know, you're in the middle of an animation, there's no way the car can hit you, you are so wrong. You can absolutely get hit by cars in the middle of cutscenes and animations.
A pack?
Looks...
Anyway, this is a puzzle, a chemical puzzle. that York will talk about out loud while you solve it. Because he's that guy.
Zack, this password may look complicated at first glance, but you needn't worry. This is a chemical formula. A challenge from Professor R.
Shh.
8th.
Avery shows up, tries to tell you not to go in. We just kind of tell him, no you, we're going in.
Yeah. You know.
And now we're going to enter open field combat against red shadows, which are basically the regular enemies, except they're red and you can't tell what type they are. And in this segment, you need to kill very specific enemies, and the only way to know is, again, because Merc looked through the files, and frankly, my diagram for which ones to kill isn't very clear, because it's very hard to ascertain the shape of this. So let's hope I do this correctly. You need to die. You need to die. One of you needs to die, and I forget which, so I'm just gonna kill both of you. You need to die. Did I get him? I got him. Please don't curse me. Oh yeah, here's the third enemy type, by the way. They yell void at you. Headshots don't work on this enemy type, it makes me sad. You died. That should be the last one. It is. Okay, got it.
I'll show you.
That might not have looked very complicated, but I really had to pay attention to what I was killing there to not lose track of that. Because if you only need to kill certain enemies and there's no tell, they're just random arbitrary enemies in the set that need to be killed to advance there. So if you don't pay attention to which ones and in which wave, it's really easy to get lost in that segment. Anyway, we made it to Lena's workshop. We found that she was a scientist person.
Log.
Being very cool, working on brains and stuff. She's very good at making drugs in her lab. Because we're investigating a crazy, super active drug that turns you into a monster. That's kind of where the plot is going right now.
This entry is from right after she became Len.
My attempts at summarizing the plot are a bit half-assed, mostly because it's it's a direct sequel, compressing something like 30 hours of storytelling into a 3-hour speedrun is just not in the cards. And then a cutscene happened where we got glassed in the back of a head, you know, anyone's head really, doesn't matter whose, your head, the head. That's the one. Patty's gone. She's been kidnapped. That's bad, we think. I would love to skateboard out of here. However, the game sometimes... Yes, the game has arbitrarily declared that I cannot skateboard here. And will keep forcing you off the board if you try. There is no reason for this. It just keeps telling you no. And now we head back to the hotel to organize the case. Even though, unlike the other chapters, organizing the case here doesn't actually complete the chapter, this is just part of the story. No, I mispressed.
Whoops.
The current plot development is that Patricia, you know, the little girl following us around, is actually related to the family that runs everything in the town. And there's like a blood curse that they have. Hence why they're all murdering each other. That's kind of where the plot's going. And now we get a vague hint that we need to take liquid sunshine. There is only one drink that can help us now. It means coffee, which means you have to go to the diner. This is the one time in the game that the quest indicator does not, in fact, tell you the location of where to go. And this is the reason why I stress the importance of not going over on time when you sleep in the previous chapter to get to the sheriff's, because the diner closes at 2 p.m. slightly after the lunch rush. I don't know if that's a thing American diners actually do, but it is represented in this game. So if you arrive here kind of late, the whole thing gets screwed up, because the diner will not be open. Regardless, we've been there, and it is fine. So we have closed. And the next quest is to go visit the billboard on top of the Clarkson warehouse, which can also only be done at a specific time of day, but luckily this one actually has overlap with the previous quest, so it works out fine. Although why it has to be done at a specific time of day, I don't know. There is no plot reason for that, you just can't do it. Unless it's in the middle of the day. Oh, don't bounce off that. What are you doing? He lets us in so he can stand on top of the billboard and have a look around. Which we're not really doing for any sort of, like, clue reason. We're doing it for vibes. It's vibe-based detectiving. He just wants a nice look around the town, sort of, like, take in the scenery, and he thinks the clues will come to him if he does that.
Which one is it, Zach?
And they do, inevitably, because, you know, silly. This camera angle makes it look like this guy is peeing on this barrel. He's not. That's just kind of his idle animation. They raise their hands, because remember, from the very start of the game, we're looking for a 10-foot-tall giant. That is who York is still convinced is the murderer, due to the fingerprints on the lampshade in the very top of a tall room. Oh, there's a detective case going on? Yeah, we're trying to solve a murder, technically. Anyway, now we need to cross the swamp to get to where we're going next. As there is a secret house on the bayou that we need to reach, so he asked Chuck Thompson over here to help us, and he basically tells us to get lost, as he has done for the entire game. But he won't trust us enough to take us unless we demonstrate that we're really good at stone skipping. I told you this was coming back. According to this guy, he always trusts anyone who can skip stones well, so we are about to prove that we can do that by getting 5 points. Here's the thing, it's really hard not to get 5 points in this. I wonder if this will be the first. Because you can kind of just mash this and you will basically always get 5. Yeah, I got 8 with no timing. This is almost impossible to not, like, this is almost impossible to fail. I think only one stone type. I think only one stone type in the game will fail to get 5 if you mash. Because there are different stone types, by the way. It doesn't matter, for the most part, but different stone types technically have different timing windows. You know, it's determined randomly what stone type you get. And now the game becomes a rail shooter. We're going to ignore all of the targets that would normally give us points because they will slow us down on the ending results screen. But it is not exactly an auto-scroller, because sometimes alligators will attack you, but there is only one specific alligator per attack that actually advances the sequence. The rest are all just sort of background decoration that you can shoot for extra points. Like this, that dude. That one dude down there, that's the right one. I worked that out by trial and error. That wasn't a someone else, like, look through the files thing. That was a thing I worked out manually. It also means it's impossible to complete this without 400 points, which means people earn, I think it's gum. I think you get mint gum as a reward for winning this with 400 points, and because it's impossible to not get 400 points, you always acquire gum. Same deal here, another alligator attack, and it's... Is it you? It's you. Hang on. Yeah, it's you. I thought it'd be more back, down, right. It's more center. It's more center than I thought. If you don't shoot the alligator when it attacks you, it will destroy your boat, and you will fail. Does mint gun help you from not smelling like stank? It does. It reduces your BO level. It is a useful item for that reason, but not in the run. Goal! At least I think it was gum. Do you get gum from this? What do you get for this? Yeah, it is gum. And you get some bullets, which is actually pretty useful. A box of rubber bullets is 50 shots, which is a lot of shots. Do you have a BO level in this game? Yes, and managing it is in fact critical to the mid-game. If you become too stinky, you will fail at speed, because you will have no money. As every time you are stinky, you lose money. What do you get for 4 points? Honestly, I don't know. I've never done it. Now everything becomes red and terrible again. And once again, the game just sort of arbitrarily prevents you from skateboarding here for the most part. You can walk through. Oh, you can walk through this. Holy moly. Some parts of this are skateboardable, some aren't. I don't know why.
You're powerless. You can't do anything.
Oops. I may have bounced off this. No, get out of the way! Is it starving time? Not quite. I'm evading all enemies right now. And also being forced off my skateboard every 3 seconds because it just doesn't work properly here. That's not even the right way. What are you doing? You took the wrong... You should have gone there. Instead, you went there. That was not it. There we go. I have skated through the danger. And now we're going to save Patricia. This is where she's been taken. Her dad is going to sacrifice her in some sort of funny ritual business to chase eternal life. The mechanics of this are not made clear. It's not really clear why he thinks this will work. We get buried under some rubble, but we can mash B to remove 2 pieces of it, and that's considered good enough for the game to trigger the next cutscene. And that's the end of Chapter 3. Time for some philosophy.
I just love the look of glistening green grass. You know the green I'm talking about. Moist with sprinkler water, reflecting the radiance of the sun. In that regard, Louisiana's grass is in a class of its own. Just picture it on a clear summer day. A cold beer in one hand, gazing out from your porch onto the garden you're so proud of. This is the life. Doesn't get much better than this. That's how you feel. A well-kept garden and a cold beer, the ultimate combination. They go hand in hand, just like hot dogs and sporting events. But that grass, it's got a bit of a nerve to it. It doesn't matter how many times you cut it down. It'll always keep...
Is this really the origin audio? Yes. If you've heard this song before, yes, it's from Deadly Premonition.
Up until last week, your garden was perfectly pruned and balanced. Symmetrical.
I'm willing to bet a lot of you have heard this song and don't realize it's from this game.
And you can't even stand to look at what it's become. That's why people work so hard to cut their grass. Like it's some ordeal they've been tasked with by the big man in the sky. Oh. And it never ends. Understand me, Zach? If you want to stop cutting your grass, well, you need to either submit to its growth or force it to wither. That's all humans can really do. Hard work never really gets you anywhere in the big picture. Nothing but wasted efforts. You following me here? Now just be honest with yourself. Be honest, Francis Zach Morgan.
And that's the philosophy hour concluded. We're strangling an FBI agent in our home. That's where we left Old York. They don't take this well and handcuff him to a shelf.
This feels like why.
Right now we're just kind of looking at everything weird in the room, and the characters comment, "Wow, that's weird."
This would have was.
And now we turn on the light, and the room becomes red. And then the two characters start arguing about which bands played at Woodstock. Well, actually, they more so start arguing about the facing direction, but then they start arguing about Woodstock. Aaliyah says Led Zeppelin never played at Woodstock. I'll take her word for it.
He's and
I think I might have done this in the wrong order. I might get the funny bug. Yep, I have the funny bug. Ideally, you want to interact with the one in the top left first, because if you don't, the funny bug happens where it doesn't let you select it anymore. There we go. It snapped back to the correct thing.
this can but there's so.
She's right. Led Zeppelin never played at Woodstock. Crazy. Accurate information in my horror game. And then we snap back to York's perspective, where the information has come in that Avery has kidnapped Patricia. The tall dude kidnapped the little girl. That's what's happening in the present. This doesn't make any more sense in the context of Speed than it does in the moment, really?
Come on.
And it kind of makes sense, just a lot is happening. A lot is happening, and I'm mostly just trying to mash through it. Also, there's a fairy flying around. That's just a thing York can see, apparently.
But it's
Poised Aaliyah. That's the name of the box you have to click on. And now finally we can click on the fairy, and the fairy steals the handcuff keys from Aaliyah to free us, because the fairy can do that. And then we get free, and we escape. The final word that apparently leads to him getting free is pizza will never betray you. Something about the pizza receipts apparently tips him off to the final clue. And so we escape the two FBI agents and go back in the present with old York to the cold storage warehouse for the final confrontation. As we have pieced together that this is where Patricia has been taken. And this is the final set of areas. Even though it is the final dungeon, it is probably not as long or complicated as the one in Chapter 2. Although it does introduce another enemy type. The, Void! Those enemies make a comeback here. No cursing. Oh, you're not dead. Now you're dead.
Don't it? There's nothing here.
The void enemies, their attacks can inflict chills on you, which cuts your stamina down to size. But it's still not as bad as paralysis, so it's whatever.
Are you Do you want to die?
Do you want to die? They can also summon tentacles from the ground. That rarely happens, honestly. You don't see that a lot. They also hang out on the ceiling. But you just kind of run past them. Don't worry about it. No curse. I think he's like 40 here. I mean, it's old by my standards. 40 is pretty old. Sorry to all the 40-year-olds in chat. Gee, thanks. Got him. Got him. Alright. Crawler on the ceiling has to die. I only got one of them. No, I didn't. I got both of them. I lied. But you have to die. No, do not. No! Oh, lucky. Spawn. Oh, he has decided not to play the game. My favorite kind of thing. They can just automatically face their back to you. If they do that, you can't hurt them, pretty much. That is an enemy pattern that I define as one that doesn't play the game. Because sometimes they can just make it so you can't hurt them, basically. You need to die. So do you. You also need to die. Those two crawlers are the thing that opens the next door, so they both had gotta die. They both gotta die. That's pretty good. How many bullets do I have? Check. 145. Is that enough? Maybe. Let me out! My inventory is full. Full of what? That'll do. Picked up an antidote at some point. I don't think there's anything in the run that even, like, causes poison towards you. No, there is. The final boss can do it. It's not very meaningful, though. Ah!
Are you in pain? Do you want to die?
Oh. I think you actually need to die. Yeah. That crawler needed to die, actually. Oh, the final section of this dungeon has the world's loudest snarf. Please look forward to it. Headshot. Headshot. Headshots, please. And they're not playing the game. Ow. Turn around. Lowers volume. Genuinely wise? I'll warn you when it's about to come up, but it is like the loudest snarf. Raises volume instead. That guy didn't take explosive damage. Why? Why did he not take the damage? Why? He just no-sold 4 explosive barrels. What a champion.
What are you...
One last profiling. This is Avery under the effects of the special drug. He becomes big. He does in fact become the big, strong man that we were looking for the whole time. As this whole game is actually about looking for a big, strong man. Oh, big. My money is lead! Sorry, I got way too excited about that all of a sudden.
Oh, I'm not...
My dingus looking for a 10-foot tall man was right. He could be. It's looking increasingly likely. Sorry, that's the 8 AM delirium. I got really excited about the fact my money was leap for a moment. Alright, 4-4. Final dungeon area. Funny quirk of door dudes, they can be shot while they're spawning in. And you'll do damage. Like, their shield isn't actually active until they've spawned in all the way. Until then, you can shoot them and do damage. You can even do a headshot if you're really good, which I'm not. No! 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 Explosive damage, I'm sad. 3! 3! 3! That's not damage, that's small damage. Oh, no. You have to die. Okay, but you're more problematic. I got a crit there and it didn't stun her. What are you on about? Right, I think this is the this is the loudest snarf coming up here, so turn your volume down if you don't want to experience the world's loudest snarf. I was not... No, I was not kidding. I was not kidding. That kind of hurt my ears a bit, actually. You were warned. I did warn you. Random bullet spread sucks. Headshots, please. Headshots, please. Turn around. Got him. Gotta take your time in that room, do them like a wave at a time. If you run into that room, they all spawn at once, and that can get very overwhelming very quickly, so I kind of took a more hang-back approach. You can sort of spawn them in one at a time. Alright. The finale now, we're in the final area. There's our big strong man. You will fight him by way of charge attack. Which is actually fueled by the eye gauge in the corner over there. It hasn't come up the whole run because 6 is plenty. Until the final boss, where it suddenly becomes not plenty.
Patricia's my new goddess!
He's very yelly.
My new lease!
I need to ingest coffee to have more charge for this. Oh, I thought that was the different move.
I got it leased, but you stole her!
More coffee.
New goddess!
300 is the health boundary there. A charge shot would have been overkill, so I didn't do it. That's gonna hit me. Oh, he missed. Lucky. Cool.
What happened? I'm not as smart as pants, so I don't...
One down. Phase 2. Very large, Avery. He's big. He needs to do... Yeah, that's good RNG. When he does that, he's vulnerable, so he can hit his Walkman thing. But it's random. There we go. Good start. Good RNG. This is a boss that can just choose not to play the game, in the sense that it can just do attacks that means it can't be hurt, because if I try and, like, hurt its weak point from here, I do a whole 3 damage. I'm gonna get hit, because I'm not running. No, I'm good. I'm good. Oh, he's throwing barrels. One more for the road. Give me. Nope, he's throwing 3 barrels. It's a Walkman. What do you want from me?
That hurts. Owie.
Any more coffee? This is the not playing the game attack. It's the attack he does when he doesn't want to play the game. It also makes an extremely grating noise. Cool.
Stop it. I ain't bad. I don't want to die.
I have murdered a child. A tall one, but a child. But that's not the final boss. Oh no. Oh no. They must rescue another child, but actually we become overtaken with all the, I don't know, like paranormal stuff, and we become a big tree monster.
To the red world. You become such a fine monster. Lena and George can never hold a candle to you. They really disappointed me, you know? It's...
In order to escape the pull of being a horrible tree monster, we must look at objects in first person. In an inspection. This one is timed. It's the only one that is. The correct thing are the 2 altars, the San Rouge containers, that's like the drug that makes everyone do weird things, Aaliyah, and Forest over there. Those are the things you need to inspect. Specifically those 5 objects. Once you're done with that, you are free of the tree monster. Thus begat the final boss.
Aim carefully.
The final boss is... You gotta hit Forest and not Aaliyah.
Aim carefully, sister.
I'm warning you.
Meanwhile, Aaliyah is trying to shoot you in the face, which is inconvenient, to say the least.
Aim carefully, sister.
Good.
Patricia Clarkson, I'm here to save you.
Good first phase. I need more coffee, though. One! She's gonna hit me. Ooh, good. When you see her move her hand to start shooting, you basically need to release and move, otherwise she'll, you know, shoot you with gun. Ow.
You're on death row. Execution!
Reload, please. No, I hit. Stop it. There we go. Got him. Time. That's time. Hey, I got under 3 hours. That's time. That's the final boss. I kill Forrest Case and he's dead. I win. I beat game. Woo! I'm delirious at this point. Under 3 hours. That run turned out pretty good. I budgeted. There was a lot of budget in the estimate in case of a softlock, because that can just happen at total random. But we avoided unfortunate circumstances like that fairly smoothly in this run. Just go to bed live on stream. Live now from Big Bad Game-a-thon. Me sleeping. Thanks for the GGs, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the run. I've been Punchy. This has been Deadly Premonition 2. Also, shout out to the Japanese restream. Kentaro-san, 解説してありがとうございました。ご視聴応援ありがとうございました。I am extremely tired. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the stream, if you enjoyed the run, rather, you can find me at Twitch TV, Punchy, etc., etc. Hi. Thank you very much for watching. Under 3 hours is a pretty good time. I'm absolutely losing it over here. Sentences are like eluding me. Holy crap. Hope you will enjoy Deadly Premonition 2 and all of the wonderful, weird mechanics that go into routing around this game, and also Snarf. I hope you all enjoyed it very much. I hope you will enjoy the next run. Stay tuned. There are plenty more big bad games coming up. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hope you all had a good time.